Episode 3737, How to Quiet Your Mind.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. I hope you're ready for an extraordinary week. Yes, rise and shine. You know what day it is today? Oh yeah, it's Monday. It's Mindset Monday. It's time to put on the leadership hat so you can lead your heart the right way. But first, you got to learn how to quiet your mind. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already haven't had the opportunity, you'll want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter. They keep it simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, Inspiring Connection and Community. So I have to ask you, how was your weekend? Did you have a great time? Was it a little bit kind of chaotic? We enjoyed some time with my grandson and my granddaughter. We got to see 4 and 5-year-olds do flag football. Oh yeah, in like 90 plus degree weather. That's what I call fun. That's what I call confusion. Clarity doesn't exist. And so as I'm sitting here watching these kids learn just the concept, the idea of what team means, I was thinking, how do we show up for ourselves? How are we one with our own body, mind, body, and spirit? What are we doing? Because if we're just walking around thinking that, oh, you know what, I got this all figured out, and then you wonder why you are where you are, it's like, if your brain is a noisy, cluttered mess, you won't get far. Confusion doesn't just cloud thinking, it demolishes action. You freeze. And without action, your goals stay out of reach, buried underneath a pile of distracting thoughts, doubts, and what-ifs. You must learn how to quiet your mind. Because let's be real. When you don't know exactly where you're headed, the noise in your head hijacks your focus, right? It's just like, squirrel, squirrel. Suddenly, every worry, outside opinion, or shiny distraction screams louder than your ambition where you're headed. You start chasing the wrong things, or worse, you freeze. It's like, what do? I don't know. Confusion challenges clarity, yet clarity kills confusion. Imagine driving cross country with your windshield covered in static, just this whole mess. You think you're moving forward until you suddenly crash into the ditch, right? Because you couldn't see the road. That's confusion. It's a fog that distorts your vision so badly, you can't even tell which way is forward. I was watching the game off and on. I have told you this before, but I am not an NBA basketball fan. It's not because I don't like, quote unquote, the NBA. It's because I really am not fond of basketball. It's okay, but it's not a sport that I sit there and like, oh yeah. Now, if I've got somebody I know playing in it, I'm all in. But it was the NBA Finals, and so we are down to Game 7, right, against Indiana and Oklahoma. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I had it on. I was watching it, going back and forth. And all of a sudden, just after halftime, what took off, or I should say who took off, was Oklahoma. At one point, I think they were over 20 points ahead. But you know what? The Indiana Pacers were like, no. We got to keep going. We've got this drive. We know the end. We know what we're after. And so they went after it. And one point, and I don't remember where we were in the game, because again, I was watching it off and on. But at one point, the Indiana Pacers were about ready to grab the ball and have possession of the ball. This was like milliseconds, okay, here. They're about ready to have the ball, but the entire audience, all the fans were yelling, defense, defense, because, imagine just kind of floating in midair, the ball going from the Oklahoma Thunder to the Indiana Pacer. And it just erupts with defense, defense, defense. And it is echoing. You could hear it even on the television screen. And as I sat there and watched, I was like, how can these guys even keep their thoughts together? How do they know who's who when all they hear in their mind is defense, defense, defense? We get that way in our mind, right? we get this fog of distraction that distorts our vision, our direction forward, right? Back to our windshield. Clarity is the windshield wiper, right? It cuts through the static. When you get crystal clear on your destination, what you want, why you want it, and what it looks like, the noise shrinks into white noise that you can ignore. And here's the thing, right? Back to basketball. Okay, stick with me here. When you've got that background noise in your head, right? Defense, defense, defense. Obviously, the noise won. Why? Because it was enough noise to drown down and drown out the Indiana Pacers. As much as they kept going and going and going. And at one point, I think they were like 11-13. They had come back, but Oklahoma was not going to let down. But you see, why does noise win? Because you're feeding it. The noise only dominates when you give it space. It's like that pause. And all of a sudden now your mind is filled with, oh my goodness, oh my gosh, what happens if I go here, if I do this? If you haven't made the brutal decision about what you want and what you don't want, your brain defaults to reacting to the loudest noises. Defense, defense, right? And spoiler alert, these are really rarely your own, right? It goes to other things that cloud us, like, oh, wait, I'm not good enough or whatever, right? And when the goal is vague, I want to be successful. I want to write kind of a book. I want to help people. I want to be that best mom. I want to be that career-driven doctorate. I want to figure it all out. What happens is your mind's thirsty for specifics, but only finds confusion. And in that vacuum, distractions rush in like vultures. I mean, it's like, whoosh. And that's what was happening, right? On the court. Defense, defense. All of that noise became part of the game. And even though the players on the Indiana Pacers side are trying to mute that, it's pretty hard to mute something that's so loud that it's shaking your body. Hence the mind-body-spirit connection. So at some point, we have to stop trying to multitask your way out of chaos. At some point, you've got to say, okay, wait, the worst thing I can do is to shove every thought and idea into my mental hard drive at once. Like, I got this. Okay, this play goes here, this goes here, this goes. More noise equals less clarity. You get bombarded. You get weighed down, which equals less forward momentum. It stalls out. So what do you have to do? You have to prune. You have to get rid of what's causing the effect, right? Yeah, the noise. You got to prune it. That is your kiss to keep it simple strategy. Prune it. Choose one clear objective. Define the one thing you're after, the one transformation, the one goal you provide, or the one problem that you're solving in whatever you're looking at, okay? Maybe you're looking at, okay, I want to help my child with this particular area. Great. So whatever that is, define that problem that you're trying to solve. That's your North Star. That's where you're headed, Mom. If you're one who says, gosh, I've got this career goal over here. I want to build this business, but I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how it's going to turn out. Your next step, one step at a time leads to miles of greatness, comes from a one step, one clear objective, one clear step. Everything else is background static. And so you might have this in the background that sounds more like waves. And what you thought is defense, defense, defense is now that. And finally, you can begin to silence the noise and prune it out. What does that look like in real life? Number one, pinpoint your destination. Really be able to sit here and say, okay, what am I doing right now? Who am I serving? Where am I going? What problem do I need to fix? What is the answer I'm looking for? And what do I really want to deliver? How do I want this to look on the other side? If you can't say it, really enunciate it out loud, verbally speak it, you aren't clear enough. And that could be anything from weight loss to raising your kid, trying to figure out maybe what you're doing in your career. Maybe you're thinking about going back to school. You can't sit there and say, I want to go back to school. Okay. So you already have your bachelor's. You could go for master's or doctorate. There's a lot of different pathways. Let's say you're a major in psychology. And that major in psychology, well, you could get a master's or you get a doctorate. Are you looking at teaching? Are you looking at going into practice and serving? What is that? You got to pinpoint what you're after. Pinpoint your destination. Number 2, write it down. Yeah, believe it or not, life is so busy, you might actually forget it. So by putting your goal on paper, or if you need to, on your phone, on your screen, so you can see it every single day, it traps the noise. Look at it daily. Let it be a reminder and your gatekeeper. It says, look at me here. Now, for me, I love writing it on my little mirrors. I have sticky notes everywhere. Why? Well, because that's just me. And sometimes what I like to do too is I just like to look at, oh, wow, that is really what I want. And then guess where that sends me? I get to dream again. You know, as we grow older, sometimes it's hard to dream. Why? Well, we can get all caught up in the noise. Like, wait, you're getting too old. Do I really have enough time to do this? I'm too old. No, you're not too old. I don't care if you're 25, 35, 45, 55, 105. You are made for more. But you have to drown out the noise. You have to prune it. Number 3, create mental boundaries. Block off distraction time. Turn off notifications. Give yourself space to focus on what matters. You know, yesterday evening, it was interesting. I was waiting for my grandson to fall asleep. And he was a little bit challenged in his own thoughts because he had taken a really, really, really good nap. And have you ever had that nap in the middle of the afternoon that you fall asleep and you wake up and it's like you've had more energy than you've had in the last month. And you're like, I can conquer the world. This is awesome. And you just feel that good. But then you can't settle back down enough to go back to sleep, even though your body still needs it, right? We never catch up on sleep. But it's like, oh, and so I was waiting for my grandson to fall asleep. And in that moment, I just laid down. And I just told my mind to be still. I didn't do anything. I needed to write. I needed to come here and prepare for the podcast. And I was like, no. I just need to block off everything right now. He's settling down. Guess what? I need to settle down. Create mental boundaries. Give yourself that space. Number 4, reject shiny object syndrome. You're like, what? Yes, that's a squirrel, right? You're chasing all these different things, all these ideas, especially if you're looking at going for another career, changing your jobs. Maybe you're coming from corporate back home, whatever it looks like. If it doesn't align with your clear goal, ignore it. Even if it looks like a great opportunity, because what happens is it's like, oh, wow. Just when you think you've got it all figured out and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to, leave corporate and come be a stay-at-home mom for a while. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But then you get that phone call and you're like, but here's this opportunity. It's real easy to say, should I pass this up? Should I keep going? Right? That's the shiny object syndrome where you're chasing something that maybe is just really the distraction. So you got to reject those. You got to know what you know and where you're headed. And finally, number 5, lean into discomfort. Silence isn't just quiet sounds. It's quieting your fears. It's quieting the doubts. It's quieting those limiting beliefs that keep popping up in your head. You can't do this. You're not good enough. If you could have, you would have done this 20 years ago. What were you thinking? You failed at this miserably so many times. Why would you put yourself through this? And really, you think you can do this? Why don't you think again? Go back. What happened in high school? Oh, wait, what happened in college? Really? It's all of those things that scream the loudest when you're trying something new. I'm sure you can relate to that. Maybe you're right there. Maybe that's the only thing that is feeding your mind. You see, clarity accelerates you, yet noise paralyzes you. No one ever blasted off toward their dream with a storm of brain noise whipping around them. You can't go after something unless if you know what you're going after, right? The people who are like, yes, who really win, who get after what they're going for, are those who say no to confusion and yes to clarity, even when it feels uncomfortable. Now, let me tell you this, back on the court, right? We've got the NBA Game 7, the final. Indiana Pacers, Oklahoma City Thunder. They're going after it. Oklahoma City Thunder has totally, ranked up their lead. But let me tell you this, the Indiana Pacers never slowed down. They kept going after what they wanted, even though the scoreboard said something different. That's when you know you have clarity. They were able to drown out the noise. Defense, defense, defense. They had to know when to make the tough calls, how to make changes, how to set the boundaries, how to silence all of the defense long enough to move the ball to the next person, to the next part of the court. So what's your move? Where is the ball landing in your court right now? Are you living in confusion, or are you hanging out with clarity? Are you sitting there saying, you know what, the doubt is going to get me, and I'm just going to let it? I might be getting older, but wisdom, it doesn't suit me well, because I kind of like being in high school still. I kind of like having that mindset that, I'm not good enough. I wasn't cut out for this. It's fine. It's whatever. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. No big deal. Are you letting the noise drown out your potential? Letting it drown you out? Is that what you're really going to allow to happen? Or are you going to get ruthless with your clarity, silence the chaos, and go all in? Go all in on what and who God created you to be, who you are and who you are becoming. Remember, if you're not clear on where you're going, the noise is all you hear, good and bad, and it can all drown you out. And if that noise is in charge, you're lost. I want to leave you with this thought. The Indiana Pacers, the score on the scoreboard showed that they lost. But let me tell you, they left their hearts on the court. So they won. When you quiet your mind, you silence the noise. Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I want to congratulate you in advance. You're like, what? Yeah. Maybe today it's time to steal that ball back. Maybe it's time to say, you know what? I am in charge. I get to quiet the noise. I get to allow what comes in and out of my head. I get to say, you know what? Don't tell me those things. And if you're hanging out with people you're hanging out with the wrong crowd. Build yourself up with who you surround yourself with. That's how you can quiet your mind, silence noise, and create your now. Go in peace. Be present. Be incredible. Be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed day. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.